Hello, my name's Kerry Martell, and I'm the author of RVlivingguide.com. I'm your host, and let's talk about a follow-up to the previous video I just made, which in case you haven't seen, you should definitely watch it. Essential items that you need if you're going to be on the go, living full-time, and you break down somewhere, these are the survival items. This is a video specifically about medical things. And I've had to make a video just about it because there's a lot to cover. Now, I have an article already on the blog called How to Make the Best First Aid Kit for Full-Time RV Living. And this is basically a companion video to that. So if you've seen that article, definitely read it. You have lots of links to all the items that I have that you can't get easily elsewhere, like at a dollar store or something like that, where it would be a lot cheaper to buy it. A lot of this stuff is generic. You don't have to buy the brand names. It's the same thing, so don't worry about that. The first thing I have is I have an actual military style backpack kit. And I believe this is made by One Tigris. One Tigris makes a lot of really great stuff. I like it a lot. You'll notice that I have a medical patch, first aid patch on here. And I also have my blood type as a patch. I'm O negative, universal donor. And I also have on the outside a combat style tourniquet in case I need to use it on myself in a hurry. It's common for soldiers. I'm an ex-soldier. It's common for us to have that outside of our medical kit. I have another kit that I take with me when I go hunting. Take this kit with me when I go hunting. It has a very similar setup. It's a much smaller version of what's all in this. This has a lot more stuff that isn't specifically all for trauma. This is for all kinds of things I might encounter on my travels, either with myself or another person. Mainly I keep this pack in my truck when I drive. And when I leave, I can take it with me. I just grab it, bring it with me wherever I go. If I'm hiking, I can put it over my shoulder and bring it with me when I'm hiking. So it's a convenient, item. It's well crafted. It's hard to find well crafted things on Amazon these days, let me tell you. On the outside here I have a small field surgical kit. It has field surgical instruments. What more can I say? If you're out in the middle of nowhere, where you often can be as a full-time RV liver, the part of the appeal of this lifestyle is being able to go out and camp for long durations. I'm a digital nomad. I have a hotspot. I have a very good service with Verizon, so I have coverage almost everywhere. Even if it's not great internet, I've got it, right? And I can be somewhere very far from a hospital. So if something happens to me or or someone I'm with, or just somebody I encounter, having the right things can be the difference between life and death. And there are some injuries where if somebody is not immediately treated, they will die, like a sucking chest wound, for example. Anything involving blood loss, that person will die if they're not treated. So I have lots of things in case I need them. Now, I'm not a doctor. I'm not even a real medic. I had Combat Lifesaver training in the United States Army, which is a step just above being a regular soldier and having your basic training first aid. And it's a step below being a full-fledged medic. The purpose of Combat Lifesavers is to treat traumatic injuries that are commonly experienced in war, such as broken bones, of course, but more importantly, gunshot wounds and stabbings, head injuries, things of that nature, burns. All of these things I've been trained to treat. I can do IVs. But I don't have an IV kit in here. That's just not practical. I'll show you what I have instead as a substitute. The purpose of showing you this, though, is that if you're planning to be out in the middle of nowhere and you don't know anything about medicine, you should probably take some sort of advanced first aid kit course on how to use it and what to do, or at least watch some damn YouTube videos for people who are medics, people who are doctors, on what to do. I'm not going to provide you that training. I'm not qualified to give you that training. I've had my own training and I've supplemented it with further education. But I'm not a doctor and I'm not giving you medical advice. I am simply showing you what I have in my kit and what you might want to include in your kit too. So let's get cracking. In the main compartment is where the big stuff is. At the very top, I have an Israeli bandage, a hemorrhaging controlled bandage. This is something you're going to want to grab right from the start, which is why I have it right here. If you're dealing with somebody who is bleeding profusely, you're going to have to use something like this to treat them. Next, I have Rhino Strong, because maybe somebody's been in an accident or I've been in an accident and I need to get myself out of the vehicle or get somebody else out. If they're pinned in something, I can use this wedge to probably get them or myself enough force up that I can get loose or they can get loose. So this is for if I'm in a wreck or if somebody else is in a wreck, I have access to this wedge. I have a wound wash kit to disinfect quickly. This is a spray, so I don't have to fuck around with rags or anything like that. It's got some kick to it with the washing, so it will push off and clean that wound area. Next, I have poison oak and ivy oak scrub. This is a common thing, so I have it up here at the top. I have another trauma. This is emergency trauma bandage. It's a knockoff Israeli bandage. Cheaper if I don't need to use the Israeli one, I won't use it. This is a pre-created splint. You just uncoil it. It's firm aluminum and use it for making a splint with some sports tape. I've got some sunblock in here in case I need to use some sunblock. Nasal saline spray for cleaning out the nose. If there's debris, lots of blood or mucus, you need to get all that shit out of your head because you had a head injury. I can use this, or you just have bad allergies. You can sort of clean yourself out. I have, instead of an IV, I have a whole bottle of Pedialyte. It's not really a Pedialyte, it's electrolyte solution. It's the same damn thing, it's cheaper. So IVs, IVs are the way you're supposed to treat heat injuries, and that's correct. But IVs are expensive to buy, and they don't last forever. And I may never have to treat a heat injured person, so why? This is a lot cheaper and more convenient, even if it does take up a lot more space. If somebody is suffering from heat exhaustion and they're still conscious, drink this whole damn thing and you won't have heat exhaustion anymore. It's better than Gatorade. While you could mix this up yourself, and I do have tablets and packages for mixing up an electrolyte solution for the same purpose. The person suffering heat exhaustion may not have the time for all of that. So this is pre-made, and just give it to them, drink it down. Or if I need to drink it down, I really got this for myself. If I am suffering heat exhaustion, I don't want to fuck around with the tablets. I just want to drink this damn thing, and that's what I'm going to do. I've got some Bengay for dealing with any severe muscle pains, sprains, pulling, anything like that. I've got a can here of Vaseline. Vaseline is super useful. You can use it in substitution for chapstick, of course, but more importantly, if you've got injuries to your legs from rubbing together from all the hiking, to your feet, things like that, you can use Vaseline to give you some treatment or just prevent the injury in the first place. You put some Vaseline in between your legs, you're probably not going to suffer any burns to your legs from all the rubbing. I have a stethoscope and onoscope in here. It's kind of probably hard to see from over there. I'll have to get a little bit closer. I keep these two items together, and I sort of rubber band some instructions on what it is and how to use it, just in case I'm panicking, have heat exhaustion myself, something going on with me, or if I can give this to somebody else, I'm incapacitated, somebody else can use my kit. So I'll often keep instructions rubber banded to the items themselves if they're unusual. I also have triple antibiotic ointment. It's basically just Neosporin. But some injuries you can only really tell if you can look in somebody's ear or if you can listen to their lungs. So I have this item. I also keep some steri strips in here, which are substitutes. You can use these instead of stitches for some injuries. So this is what I keep in here. Now I could put a lot more things in here, and I probably will in the future because this case takes up a lot of space, so I should really maximize the storage capacity of this. Anyway. The next item I have on here is I have 2 canisters of these Tums. I have 2 canisters of these non-sport tablets for electrolytes. These are part of what I would use instead of the Pedialyte if there's plenty of time to keep somebody hydrated, especially if they've having diarrhea or something like that. I have a package of assorted surgical sutures in case I do need to do stitching. I have various sizes. This is an entire box worth of them, and it's amazing, right? You just take things out of a cardboard box and put it into a Ziploc bag, and suddenly it fits, you know, in your kit like it was meant to be there. Now I do cut off the lid so it says assorted sutures in there, so that I can see what it is very clearly, and other people can see what it is as well. If I am incapacitated for some reason and somebody has to use my kit on me, they can see very clearly what it is. I have abdominal pads here, because sometimes you need a very large, thick pad for profuse bleeding, especially from something like an abdominal gunshot wound. I have some eye shields. I have eye shields here to cover up your eye and look like a pirate. You never know. If somebody gets poked in the eye, they're going to want to protect that eye. I have triangular bandages. I have a couple more of these as well, but I have one in here right at the top. And then I have a small pair of disposable latex gloves. I have additional gloves in case somebody is allergic to latex. This is the main compartment. What was in it? The next order of business is the second compartment. Now at the very top I have a first aid pocket guide, because maybe I'm panicking, maybe I just, I haven't eaten in a while, I'm dehydrated, who knows what the reason is. Maybe somebody else has to use this kit on me, and there's a pocket guide here to show them what to do with my supplies to keep me alive. I have sporting tape, a wrap, and I have a thing of melatonin sleep aid. Basically, it'll help you naturally fall asleep. So if you're in a lot of pain, this can help you sleep. I have a canister here of burn relief spray. This mixture has lidocaine within it. I have additional athletic tape wrap as well, useful for splinting. I have another brand of sleep aid. This one has, try to read it, doxylamine socanate, I think is how you pronounce that. So it's a different brand of sleep aid. Some people are allergic to that, so I also have melatonin. I have some Allerclear for people suffering allergies. I have a stick of insect Repel 100 spray. Very useful. I like the stick because it's very compact. I have a small magnifying glass so I can see blisters or anything else that's really small that I need to be able to see what's going on there. Maybe somebody has splinters or ticks, or who knows what it is. It's useful to have a magnifying glass. I have an emergency plastic poncho, which is useful for many things. Of course, to keep my bag dry during the rain, or a person, keep them dry as well. But it can also be laid down on the ground, and now you have a somewhat sterile environment upon which to do a field operation on them. I have swabs of shit, I'm trying to remember what the hell it's called. Not lidocaine. Can't remember what the hell it's called. It's just on the tip of my tongue. Come back to that. Got a thing of hand sanitizer. I've got travel sickness pills. This is meclizine, I think is how you pronounce it. It's super small print. Meclizine HCI. I've got another thing of anti-itch cream. This one is hydrocortisone 1%. So deal with a nasty fungus or something like that. I have a CPR mask if somebody needs to have CPR done on them, but their mouth is all bloody and shit. I don't want to get AIDS, so I have a CPR mask, a shield mask, so that doesn't happen. I have a hyphen vent entry exit wound combo, so I can deal with sucking chest wounds, create a seal again in their chest. This is a small thing of band-aids, basically, and sting relief pads. I got another hyphen, chest seal. I've got another abdominal pad. They're also called combine pads. Just a footnote. And then I got some more anti-itch cream. Probably have more anti-itch cream in here than I actually need, to be honest. And I've got another thing of I have another thing of Neosporin, aka triple antibiotic cream, aka first aid antibiotic cream. It's all the same thing. It's Neosporin, is what it is. Okay, now in the smaller pouch here, I have a variety of things. This is a small thing of medical gauze. I have another thing of nasal spray. This one is Opcon A. This is not nasal spray. This is I have a thing of Opcon A, which is an eye drop for irritated or damaged eyes. I have a small little baggie of Tylenol Extra Strength, and then I have a small baggie of oxycodone, pain relief. If I'm in an accident, I want to use some oxy, right? I got some extra strength Advil packets here. This is left over from a trip to Disney World, so I just stuck them in my pack. I got some more Band-Aids in here, and I've got some swipes, various medical swipes, rubbing alcohol, basically, sterile alcohol swipe pads. I've got a small disposable lighter, which I can use to sterilize surgical equipment or create a fire so that I can get something hot so I can cauterize a wound. This might actually get hot enough to be able to cauterize a small wound by burning directly with it, so it's very useful. I've got a vial of Anbesol, which is a dental pain nuller. So if somebody's gotten a bad tooth or they bit their tongue or something like that, you can just take some of this and it will null your mouth pretty good until you can get to a dentist. I have this is a hemostat powder for stopping bleeding. This one is Stops Bleeding branded. This stuff is very effective, but it cannot stay in the wound, unlike the other brand, which I'll show you. This stuff, if someone's got a really deep wound, you'll need to dump this on there to really stop the bleeding, because the Israeli bandage by itself won't be sufficient to do that. And I've got another thing of nasal spray. This is a pump. This is another, it's called Assured, is what it is. It's just another nasal spray for allergies. Let's put some of this stuff back in Now getting into the last compartment. Let's see what I have in here. I have a small little dish rag. This is rolled up, and I've got it held down by a rubber band, and that's how I keep all the safety pins. If you're going to create slings and so forth, you're going to need a lot of safety pins for that. I've got additional triangular bandages, pre-packaged. I've got Celax-A. This is another type of anti-bleeding hemostat control powder. These are injectors, so you can literally stick it into the wound and stick it in there. This stuff doesn't have to be cleaned as quickly out. It won't contaminate the wound as badly. It's more expensive. I have a Pathway, I can't remember what the hell these things are called. I think they're nasal airway spike is what it basically is. You have to shove this down somebody's nose with some Vaseline if you're going to help them breathe again. Because just because you can do CPR doesn't really, putting off my head here, but just because you can do CPR doesn't mean that it's going to actually allow them to breathe. If they've got a bunch of crap down, their throat, so you're going to have to create your own airway with this nasty thing, sticking it down somebody's nose, which is not comfortable. Got a little syringe. It doesn't have a needle on it. This is for helping cleaning the wound. You put sterilized water or alcohol in it, and you can clean a wound directly, or you can just stick this directly into the wound and then shoot the wound wash down into it, basically, which is why I have it. This is burn dressing, burn relief gel. I've got alternate latex free gloves. These are made of nitrile. I've got surgical sponges, and I have another hemostat a discount Israeli bandage is what it is. And I've got a lot of supplementary things and things that do similar purposes. The reason for that is that some people are allergic to different things. Like, for example, some people are allergic to latex, so you got the nitrile gloves. Some people are allergic to certain brands of allergy relief nasal spray, which is why I have one that's just it's just saline solution. So that pretty much concludes what's in here, except I also have scissors to cut into somebody's clothing. If somebody, you can't move them, you need to get to their wound really quickly, you need to cut their shirt, cut their pants, or whatever it is. So I have that. And yeah, I think that's pretty much everything that's in here. So if you have any questions, any comments, anything you think I should have in my trauma wound kit specifically, let me know in the comments to this video. Thank you so much for watching. Hope you guys stay safe, and thanks for having me as your guide.